right, so I just want to talk a little bit about the struggles of show prep, what you can expect in terms of how you're going to feel. So get right into it. Basically, for me, I really never decide that I'm going to do a show until I'm around 6 weeks out. So at that point that I decide to do the show, 5 weeks out becomes somewhat of hell to me, because I change up the dynamics of my cardio. I may change around my food quite a bit, supplement list, it's just a general overall big shock to my body from what I was doing at maybe 6 weeks out to 5 weeks out. And as I move on down to say 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, I really don't have, or I never had so far, or that I remember, a lot of problems at 3 and 4 weeks out. Get into 2 weeks out, I find that 2 weeks out, a lot of struggles come along. The biggest is your body fat is severely low, or it should be by this point. I think anybody that competes should be pretty much ready to go within 2 weeks out from a show, just for the fact that kind of gives you a little leniency. It gives you a little bit of time to play around with what you could do as far as your carb loading goes for the final week, your water intake, your sodium. You can do trial runs to see how your body reacts. And I just always think it's basically just better to be ahead of the game than it is to try to play catch up the final week of your prep. So with that said, I'm generally ready always at 2 weeks out. My body fat is severely low, and at this point, this prep, I'm leaner than I've ever been. I'm carrying around probably 3 to 4 pounds more muscle now than I had before, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're my size and height, it's 3 to 4 pounds is a lot of muscle to work with. In terms of knowing what your body generally needs overall in terms of training, food, cardio, and supplements. So 2 weeks out, I have a real bad time. I have zero energy most of the day. It doesn't really matter how many stimulants I take throughout the day. I still have a very run-down feeling. I don't feel like doing anything much at all. And on top of that, the general food intake doesn't help either, because I like to really drop my carbohydrate intake down, but this time I have really picked my protein intake up. I've went from 6 ounces of food per meal up to 7 ounces of food for the past, even before I decided to do this prep. So I've been doing that since probably 8 weeks ago, with the 7 ounces of protein per meal. Carbohydrates, I like to do 2 carb loads per week, and the carb load per week may vary in terms of, for instance, my last high carb day, I hit 400 carbs for the day. The time before that, I only got to 250. The days after the carb loads, I generally have even worse days, because my body works so hard the day that those carbohydrates are that high it works to utilize those carbs, to break down those carbs. So that day after, I just feel like I've been ran over by a truck. That's just the way it goes. But then generally it just carries on for the next 3 to 4 days. So honestly, I really don't know if it's just part of the high carbohydrate intake that causes this to happen, or it's just my metabolic rate is just at a ridiculous high level, and it's burning through everything that I take in at such a high level that it just leaves me in this feeling. And I think everyone that does a prep right probably experiences the same thing, or I think you should. I think for me, I think if you don't feel like death a couple weeks out from a show, you're probably not doing something right. You're probably, I don't know, it could be your food intake, it could be lack of training, lack of cardio, or whatever. But anyway, I just want to talk about the struggles a little bit. Definitely, show prep is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I say it time and time again, and I believe that stands true for anybody that does show prep right. Just the overall discipline and willpower it takes, the perseverance. So many temptations out there that you have to overcome, and it just the mental focus has to be at an all-time high level to make it through the prep and to do the prep the correct way so that you come out looking your best on the day of the show. But anyway, that's just my take on that and my thoughts on it. Hope you guys get a little bit of something out of these videos that I'm doing, and I appreciate everyone that's subscribed. I appreciate everyone's support throughout this prep and every other prep. And after the show is over, I'm really going to get into some shout outs and make some direct statements at people that have really helped push me through this. Or the fact is, there's a lot of people that don't even know that they have been a support system throughout this prep, but I'm just going to let you know about that once the show is over.